Hey guys, so most of you know I'm a big fantasy literature fan. One of my favorites is Princess Bride, which was made into a movie. And of course, we have Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which were all made into movies. Some of my most favorite movies of all times. But I also like Narnia, written by C.S. Lewis. But I'm also a big science fiction fan. First up is John Carter of Mars. He was a lead character in the first novel by Edgar Rice Burroughs, set in a fictionalized version of Mars known as Barsoom, written between July and September 28, 1911. John Carter was also made into a movie on the 100th anniversary of the character's first appearance in 2012. Next up, we have the Martian Chronicles, science fiction novels published in 1950 by American writer Ray Bradbury. Chronicles the exploration and settlement of Mars. It was also made into a TV series. The first episode was in January of 1980 with Rock Hudson. Next up, we have I, Robot by Isaac Asimov. At least 3 short stories from I, Robot have been adapted for television. The first was a 1962 episode of Out of This World, hosted by Boris Karloff, called Little Lost Robot. The film I, Robot, starring Will Smith, was released by 20th Century Fox on July 16, 2004. Its plot incorporates elements of Little Lost Robot, some of Asimov's character names, and the 3 laws. However, the plot of the movie is mostly original work adapted from the screenplay Hardwired by Jeff Vintar, completely unlinked to Asimov's stories. Unlike the books by Asimov, the movie featured hordes of killer robots. Another robot-type movie I saw recently on Svengoolie was the creation of the humanoids. When nuclear war annihilates much of the world's population, the remaining humans come to rely heavily on robotic androids to keep their fragile society afloat. What was Doc doing in a 1962 movie? Up next, we have Blade Runner, also known as Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, a novel by Philip K. Dick. First published in 1968, the novel is set in a post-apocalyptic San Francisco where Earth's life has been greatly damaged by a nuclear global war, leaving most animal species endangered or extinct. The main plot follows Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter who is tasked with retiring or killing 6 escaped Nexus 6 model androids. The movie Blade Runner was released in 1982, followed by the sequel Blade Runner 2049, released in 2017. Up next, we have a different category of science fiction. I Am Legend. Will Smith, a brilliant scientist, is a survivor of a man-made plague that transforms humans into bloodthirsty mutants. He wanders alone through New York City, calling out for other possible survivors, and works on finding a cure for the plague using his own immune blood. This Will Smith version is not the only depiction of the 1954 novel I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. In 1964, we had a black and white Vincent Price movie called The Last Man on Earth, where everyone else has been infected by a plague that has turned them into undead vampiric creatures that cannot stand sunlight, fear mirrors, and are repelled by garlic. Next up, we have another movie that was based on that I Am Legend book called The Omega Man with Charlton Heston, released in 1971. Due to an experimental vaccine, Dr. Robert Neville is the only survivor of an apocalyptic war, with the exception of a few hundred deformed, nocturnal people who are also homicidal maniacs. Struggling to maintain his sanity, he spends his days patrolling the now desolate Los Angeles streets, hunting and killing members of the family. The family seeks to destroy all technology and kill Neville, who has become a symbol of the science they blame for humanity's downfall. At night, living atop a fortified apartment building equipped with an arsenal of weaponry, Neville is a prisoner in his own home. You ask who Charlton Heston is? Well, he was a famous actor that starred in Ben-Hur and played Moses in the 10 Commandments. Recently, I was in the grocery store and I saw this product on the shelf, and it reminded me of another Charlton Heston movie called Soylent Green. Soylent Green was a 1973 movie based on the 1966 science fiction novel Make Room by Harry Harrison. In a densely overpopulated, starving New York City of the future, New York PD Detective Robert Thorne, Charlton Heston, investigates the murder of an executive at rations manufacturer Soylent Corporation. The film involved a dystopian future of dying oceans and year-round humidity due to the greenhouse effect, resulting in suffering from pollution, poverty, overpopulation, euthanasia, and depleted resources. This movie was supposedly based in the year 2022. These movies sound like they're becoming fact, not just fiction, in a world where we're going to reach the population of 10 billion people by 2050. I've added some humorous screenshots here just to make light of Soylent Green. And now my last favorite Charlton Heston movie, Planet of the Apes, a 1963 science fiction novel by French author Pierre Boulle. It was adapted into the movie in 1968. I remember seeing this as a young teenager, and frankly, I was pretty scared. Here was an upside-down world ruled by apes and not man. I remember this final scene when the astronaut, played by Charlton Heston, finds the Statue of Liberty on the beach, realizing that mankind had destroyed his planet. So there you have some of my most favorite science fiction books and movies.